All right, gang, we are now wrapping up the Prelude to the X-Tinction agenda. This is Uncanny X-Men 238, and we are still going over this awesome collected trade. And I really appreciate that when Marvel put this together, that they gave us, what was it, 235 through 238, so we can understand the impact that Genosha is having on the mutant society and the world at large, where they're essentially kind of trying to outbeat a lot of the major, what do you call it, powers in the world in terms of resources, jobs, security. But as we found out, it's because they stand on the backs of mutants that have been essentially forced under the boot of slavery. So this is called Gonna Be a Revolution. And yes, every time I say that freaking title, I get the Beatles stuck in my head. Ugh. Anyway, on this book, this is Chris Claremont writing, Marc Silvestri penciler, Dan Green inks, Glynis Oliver doing the coloring, Tom Orzechowski doing the lettering, Bob Harris editor, and Tom DeFalco editor in chief. Big names on this book. We open up on Low Girl and a Phil. Very much kind of a stark contrast to what we've been seeing so far. And then we start seeing, what do you call it, the overlay of dialogue. And I know I talk about lots of talking, but the difference is, and I've said this before, if it's adding to the scene, no problem. But if it feels like it's just kind of veering and being witty or whatever, then that's where it starts to lose steam. So let me read this and you kind of get an example. I thought we couldn't scan the woman's thoughts. We can. This is a psychic's transcript from the mind of the examining telepath. Evidently, this is how the woman perceives herself. What's that song she's singing? Gone to America by a group called the Still Eyes Band. Is that significant? Unknown. Too much about this woman is unknown. Chief Magistrate. I don't like it. So here we find out that this is Madelyne Pryor. And we're seeing herself as a little girl. And if we remember last issue, when they go to finally completely wipe her mind, she goes, I'm warning you telepathically. Leave me alone. And she essentially slaughters everybody in the Gingineer's medical room. And so the Gingineer doesn't know how to take her because she's essentially not a mutant. And that's what kind of threw me off too, is I'm like, why would they do that other than to just shut her up with state secrets? Is that me? Correct, Gingineer. Even though the telepath was conducting the interrogation, the woman correctly perceived you as the true source of the questions. Who are you? Stop this foolishness, girl. And so I love how it starts to break down, where we open up on the serene scene. The colors are very vibrant and peaceful. And then as the Gingineer enters the scene, how things just quickly, we start to see the magistrates coming in these dark militaristic greens, and then this shrouded face. This is how you use comic paneling and coloring to tell the story. Stop this foolishness. What's the meaning of this childhood facade? Where's your true personality? I was sick, but I got better. Why are you yelling at me? Why'd you hit me? Why do you want to hurt me? And it's just interesting how Chris Claremont kind of alludes to sort of a Jean Grey analogy where we see the Phoenix Force in her eye. You're not human. I am what I am. What men like you have made me. Magistrates, open fire. Destroy her. And so from there, all the colors got it. We go into just hellfires and blues and purples. If I die, old man, it will not be. My Lord, have mercy. Gone, all gone, smashed to bits, transformed into a charnel house. Why was I spared? Shall we say? So we see the Goblin Queen. The one and only, but you're different. Oh, from chaos, change, and change, growth. The pattern of life as old as creation. Question, Joe, is the growth, change, or the chaos? No, it can't be. I never lost control of interrogation. First time. Look at her, Gingineer. She's hesitating, confused. I don't think she knows the answer. And she's saying, in terms of chaos and change, she goes, the one, because it pleases me. The other is a warning to your masters. Be careful when you strike a match, even if only to light your way through the darkness, because you never know when you'll ignite an inferno. I just love how they kind of start teasing the next event. And I'm sure people this time didn't quite understand where it was going, but you can feel tension building up. And so Madelyne, in a sense, at this point, the Gingineer kind of becomes obsessed with. Who are you? What are you? Mutant prisoner 9818? The pilot you kidnapped. The woman in your pet Gestapo have been happily torturing. You butchered my interrogation team. So you say. All I remember is being strapped to a table with your hot pet telepath taught to turn my mind inside out. It didn't bother him that the process violated me or that it hurt. He seemed to enjoy it. The next I knew, I was back in my cell. You call it butchery. Others might call it self-defense. And I just love how Madelyne becomes more and more this enigma, especially the way her face is just kind of starts to become silhouetted. We don't know who Maddie is anymore. But what I think and feel don't really matter, do they? I was condemned the moment I arrived here. We have a way of life on Genosha. It's the MD of the world. It must be protected. Ever wondered if your slaves share those passions? Our mutants are well cared for they want nothing except freedom. They're as free as they need to be. We can say he's just, this is his way. He's so much in the, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not stigma. There's a word where you finally start to believe your own bullshit, and there's a word, propaganda. There's the word. Anyway, so remember, last issue, Rogue and Wolverine. Rogue right now, Carol Danvers. They've saved the Gingineer's son from the M train because he decided to start crapping the magistrates. And he goes, "Why are you doing this? I'm a Genoshan citizen. Until your status is sorted out, I'm afraid you'll have to remain in custody." Or Phillip, losing your illusions left, right, and center. Welcome to the real world, boy. So they point out how they got caught. And so you feel everything building up to a bubbling point. Talking about the kids and how mutants aren't allowed to breed normally. It's a hard read. He's finally confronted with his dad. He goes, make your decision. Live with the consequences. You're right, but this is wrong. It makes a lie of all of our pretensions to be in a free country. I won't be party to it. Because Phillip finally saw the camps. And it's not where they try to say, oh, our mutants live free and people would die for this type of living. You come to find out that it actually looks like concentration camps. And his father's face just darkened in shadow. Phillip, I beg you to consider what you say. These are state secrets. You're threatening the survival of our very country. The Rogue actually says, and God said unto Abram, sacrifice unto me your only begotten son, your beloved Isaac. Duty before blood is an old man. You do that? You leave me no alternative. It's the law, Phillip, in my country. It's mine too. Only my vision of it, it's a lot more decent than yours. And so his father essentially condemns him to death. And Wolverine just ain't having it when he sees the X-Men finally come to the rescue. Carol, Rogue, says, you've got no healing factor, remember? You get shot to pieces now, Logan. You'll die. I'm dying anyway. Figure says, I got no choice. Unless prospects, I might as well go out with style and lots of company. And starts to rip through the magistrates, which at this point, everyone is sick of what the Genoshans. Now, as we come to a close, of course, our main characters can't die because comics, I'll leave it alone with how he's finally able to, how their powers are finally able to be returned to them. But what makes this poignant and how it builds up into the X-Tinction agenda is Phillip finally learns that Genosha is not what he thought it was. Because you're a dreamer, boy. Power structure's got everything to lose by yielding and nothing to gain. He'll squash you. And you'll be doing is postponing the final confrontation and probably making things a whole lot worse. Perhaps, but I have to try. This is my country. I have to believe it. I have to give us the chance. And his resolve's more strengthened as Ginny is returned to him, but it's not the Ginny. And so it's very bitter, sweet, but a freaking emotional roller coaster nonetheless, my This is why, to this day, Chris Claremont's run is the definitive way the X-Men should be perceived, and why almost all the medium that a lot of new people have watched and that we watched from the animated series was based on the concepts of what Len Wein initially wanted to do with Giant Size X-Men and what Claremont took and ran with thereafter. And as I've been saying in our deep dive reviews, Jack Kirby said these are our modern mythos, and that's why these stories matter and why we keep coming back to them time and time again. Because at this point, even though there are dated references, concepts are timeless. So, guys, if you've enjoyed what you see, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or where does it get your action figures and comics, and pick up these books either in their individual form, which to me is still the best pure way to read them, but there's also picking up the collected trades, which brings me to say also, please support your local library and see if you can get this in stock. And if you've enjoyed this review, I really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little Genoshan bell, next subscribe. That way, as I get typical content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel. And I love talking with you and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure that the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading and happy hunting.